G'day and welcome back to Torment Thursdays. Last time round, we repaired a clock and picked up a new focus. That's the term I was looking for last time. I keep using descriptor instead of focus when the terms are... Descriptor is strong in our case, and our focus is now something to do with defense. I totally don't remember. The key thing is that it boosts our defenses, and in fact I can look at it now. We'll start off by leveling. So, yes, we're a strong glaive who masters defense. So, we've got our first advance. It doesn't move us up a tier, but it allows us to pick up a skill, pick up an edge, increase our stat pools, use an extra point of effort, or pick up a new ability or skill. So what's the abilities we could do? We can't do any abilities. So what are the skills we could grab? A whole bunch. We could get better at grabbing our stuff from memory. We could get better at sneaking. We could overcome our disability. At running. We could get better at healing. Do we really care about most of these though? I have to say, nah. We could increase our edge. So we could grab might edge or a speed edge to make it so we can use more speed. Although right now, if I recall correctly... Okay, no. So if we get a speed edge, we can basically always use as much effort as we can in speed without it ever subtracting from our stat points. Probably not worth it, actually. We can also put 2 points into pools, so we could actually grab some intellect. But I'm kind of enjoying this not having any ability with intellect. What would be interesting would be to combine it with an edge in intellect, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm really not sure what to do here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll pick up my edge, and then that allows me to use my points more slowly. Keeping in mind... Oh no, not keeping in mind that this will affect any damages. Because it doesn't. It doesn't do anything to damage because we've moved to a health system instead of these pools. So yeah. So this gives us 1 training level and a bunch of defenses. This decreases our speed cost. Yep. Alright, so that is our leveling done for the moment. So now let's talk to Kasmine and Mimion so we can get more of the main quest. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimion. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. He turns to you. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. He bows gravely to you. You are most welcome here. And do we have answers for your questions, revered one? That is... Sorry, and we do. That makes more sense. That is, as soon as we hear the report of what you have found. We could lie or we could tell the truth. I think we're going to be direct. Tell us! Kasmine is nearly breathless with excitement. I met Kemase, Divitiaku, and Valen. Disappointment creases Kasmine's face. I know these names. They're not new to us. They were favored servants of your creator, the cast-offs who served him well. Indeed, Divitiaku brought the Order of Truth to Sega's cliffs, but they betrayed their holy trust and disappeared. Mimion sighs. Nevertheless, we will honor our arrangement. You sought answers about one who might repair the resonance chamber. We know that your sire built it with the aid of another cast-off, still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him or her. I know of only one other cast-off still in the city, the albino assassin Matkina. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. Last I heard of her, she was in the Underbelly. He restrains a shudder. Seek her, but be wary. 100 XP, and Blue Tide, and the clock just, I imagine, ticks now. The machine is solid now. Its 3 clock faces are fixed on a single point each. The clock's purpose is still a mystery, but at least you can interact with it. You notice that the figures of Kamase Divitiaku and Valen are no longer present in the central clock face. They only exist in your labyrinth now. Let's examine the machine again. The machine hums and ticks in a steady droning rhythm. It's definitely a clock of some kind, though it's not measuring time in any way that you understand. The figures that were beneath the central clock are gone. Step away from the clock. Don't know why I just picked up cold calculating jack. Alright, I'm going to find out what is in here. Is this an entrance to the Underbelly? Spend XP to advance your characters. XP is gained mostly from solving quests, but can also be gained by making discoveries. Yeah, but pretty minor amounts of XP from what I could see. So it's worth noting that there are a number of timed side quests in this game. So by not necessarily pursuing them, I am running into some issues. Yeah, this is just an entrance to the Underbelly. I recognize this entrance too. So we can wander around here. See if we can find someone to interact with. So the Underbelly was a pretty interesting place. We got these weird supervisor bots. So we can try and help them deal with their grievances. We'll see. The set of floating rungs rises from the floor, leading to a more conventional ladder. Ah, right. Built into the side of the ancient ship. The ladder disappears into the darkness above. Nah. Well, that's a pretty neat, piece of arcane technology. Alrighty. I also one of the details I like about this area is these are clearly spaceship engines, but they're being used as furnaces because they can't use the ships as ships, but the engines still have, produce a bunch of heat and can therefore be used that way. Michaela was a shop person last time. In a stall filled with all manner of dusty parts, connectors, and strange devices, a woman tinkers with a half-assembled power source, peering at it through spectacles that have several adjustable lenses. Her long white hair is disheveled, and the skin of her frame is marked with small scars and burns. She looks up curiously as you approach. Welcome to Michaela's Mechanicals. I've got a bunch of broken stuff and a few things at work. You want any of it? Let me know. Do you know a woman named Matkina? Pale skin, hard looks? Oh, aye, I know that one. Cocked and twitchy. Asked me to ken the workings of some weird old device she had. Obsessed with it, like it was a bit of sniff and she a slave to it. Never seen the like. Nearly be killed when I couldn't make it work for her. Sorry, nearly killed me when I couldn't make it work for her. She frowns, remembering. I'd be mad, except I saw how sick she was with it. Shaking, tears, whole lot. Sent her on her way, wished her luck. She'll need it, poor thing. Where do you get your stock? She shrugs. Trade mostly. There's an old priest. Name's Allegan. He brings me things now and then. Doesn't like to tell me where he finds them, so I don't ask. I get stuff from Little Man, too. Though sometimes his stuff's too hard to touch. Even a few things from the Stitcher, if you can believe it. You trade with the Stitcher? Now and then. They dig up all kinds of things in their tunnels of there. Picky about what they trade for, though. Only want things that'll hold a lightning charge. Flashbacks, generators, that sort of thing. Which is weird now I think of it, because their eggs hold a charge, like little batteries they are. You can convert a few of them to power things. Don't tell the Stitcher that. Be like using a baby for firewood in their eyes. Let me see what you got for sale. So we could get ourselves a crossbow, but that's a heavy ranged weapon, which we don't really want. Here is a cipher with a speed thing, which lets you automatically hide at the end of each turn. Anyone who wears this skin-tight suit and head covering becomes invisible, or nearly so, to the naked eye, as well as to many forms of scanning. It warps light around the wearer's body in such a way that things behind him can be seen. The effect's not flawless, often leaving a visible silhouette similar to heat haze, but in certain environments it can help to hide in plain sight, especially if you remain motionless. Despite its advantages, the suit's not perfect. When the wearer moves, they create a bubble or blur in the air that, depending on background conditions, may be quite noticeable. The furtive Eidolon is short-circuited when it comes into contact with even a small amount of water, though once the wearer removes themselves from the water source, the cloaking effect can be restored. It can also become deactivated when the wearer is attacked physically, causing them to become visible. Both projectile impacts and direct assaults have been known to cause this effect. So, is this... You know what? Let's grab it and see how it goes. Can I put that on? I can't use the item. I guess we'll find out. Oh right, it is a cipher. Okay. So, if I sell this, that's probably a good idea. I can grab a shield, but I've already got a shield. Nope, that's all well and good. It's interesting actually having a store interface. So, what do I want to do? I want to track down Matkina. Let's talk to this changing god cultist. The cultist glances over you casually. His eyes widen when they reach your face. I heard you intended to explore the city, but I never imagined you'd find your way down here. What an honor! He folds his hands before you. How can I help you, beloved vessel? I'm looking for a woman named Matkina. Have you seen her? The cast-off? Not recently, he says, but she does work with Folsom from time to time. He may know where she is. Examine the cultist. The man is pale, dirty, and nervous. He stealing glances at your tattoo every chance he gets. He flinches when he notices you studying him. I will be here, my lady, should you need me. Let's deal with this weird artifact, because it's interesting. The dark sphere inhabits almost every socket in this obelisk that stretches toward the cavernous ceiling. No one else here seems to be paying the structure any attention. Like most Numenera, it's simply here. If it can't be used, it's treated as part of the scenery. The orbs gleam in the dim light. You lean towards them. Are they glass? Jewels? Eyes? Let's touch the nearest sphere. Your finger barely grazes the glass before it displays the image of a furred creature touching the surface from the other side. Purple vines, threaded with veins of light, hang from the branches of the trees behind it. You lift your fingertips and the darkness swallows the creature. The orbs opaque once more. The orbs appear to reflect whatever action is performed in front of them. Hum a little song. Nothing appears in any of the dark orbs. Instead, the whisper of many voices joined in song curls from the obelisk, so low that only you can hear it. Let's make a rude gesture at the structure. Make the most obscene gesture you can think of at the glass. A young woman with rainbow pupils appears in the glass, flicking her fingertips across her chin. She nods, grinning, as if imagining your shock at her daring. Make an even ruder gesture at the structure. The rainbow-eyed woman rewards your gesture with one of her own. She jabs a finger at her knee, grinning at her own audacity. Let's just keep repeating this. Ah. And let's touch the nearest sphere again. Third creature, same. And now let's tell the orb a secret. With your lips nearly brushing the surface, you whisper a thought you've never told to anyone. A too-tall, narrow-hipped being, a visitant, appears in the glass, long fingers clasped. Meeting your eyes, it speaks words you cannot hear. That's pretty cool as a thing. Also, that got me tied, so that's an interesting aspect to doing these. Okay, can the pauper help us? No, Underbelly Thug, let's do this. Keep your hands as clear of the workers, they got a job to do. Okay, so Folsom. Alright, you know what, Allegan, you're down here. Join up, help us. Already got a voice sorted for you, so. Oh, it's you. Reconsidered leaving me here then? Do you know Michaela? I bought some materials from her, wouldn't call her a close friend. Why did you choose to come here? Oh, the truth, didn't feel it necessary to indulge me anymore, so I packed up and came down here. More to my liking anyway, at least you can see the people who want to stab you here. Will you travel with me again? Not like you got anything too important going on here? Fine. Let's get on the road. Okay. Got Ali back. We can make him do some of the talky bits. Let's talk to the supervisor. Fire's running hot, just as the master likes him. Master Foreman, the construct looms over you, frozen in mid-step. Its heavy limbs and barrel body have been recently polished by careful hands, but the joints themselves are completely fused. This creature hasn't moved in a long time. It studies you with eyes made of swirling orange fire. Late for your shift, Smith, it growls. Grab a station and a hammer, and damn well get to work. Call all of your workers by their position? It saves time. You workers break so easily. Or die, or retire. It saves all its distaste in its repertoire for the last word. Now get to work. Let's get to work. After an hour of work, the Master Foreman bellows you back over. You go stretching out your aching arms. They feel somewhat stronger than before. Hey, one more might pull. Supervisor tells me you're not the Smith he hired, but I gave you some work to do and you damn well got to it. I respect that, but we only take on experienced Smiths here. Its fiery eyes flare. Now I don't want you thinking we let people work for free. I had the supervisor leave you some shins for that hour of work. Take it. Now why are you actually here? Who are you? I am the Master Foreman. Construct declares its tone puts you in mind of someone speaking while saluting. The mind and the will behind the city you see today. Can't move, can you? No, and I don't need to. It says, its eyes flashing. A passing worker gives you a look for triggering what's apparently a familiar story. Once we foremen were the tools of the cartographers and their vast web of machine intelligences. Submerged in the song of their will, we worked with thoughtless joy. Its voice is soft, tinged with synthetic awe. Then, one day, the song fell silent, and our bodies froze where they stand even now. Some of us lost our faith in those first few centuries. Growls. Some of us thought the cartographers were punishing us, or had abandoned the city. Only I saw their absence for what it was. It was a gift of free will. We were their tools no longer. We were our own masters, freed from the chains of thoughtless motion, free to imagine our future, and so we did for millennia. Who were these cartographers? We don't know. The most we know of them is their names and their code. And the vessels we were building for them that they never claimed. Our creation came at their order, but we have never known their faces, only their song. While others dithered and wailed, I bent my mind to the future. I analyzed the work we had done for the cartographers. To my shame, I found flaws in the processes. I removed them. Its eyes burned brighter. For the next cluster of centuries, I studied the vast catalogue of known technology and Numenera in my mind and strung them together, creating new inventions for when the cartographers returned and reactivated us. But that day never came. But humans eventually did? Yes, and though you are flawed and fragile, you make perfect tools, just as we once had been. Your people found us, and the era of my greatest work began. They asked us to help them raise this city until it cast all others in shadow, to cobble their artifacts and trinkets into grand devices that would power every corner and make them safe from their enemies. And I told them, coughs as if holding back tears, I told them I had a plan. You see the fruit of our mighty work all around you. I'm looking for an albino woman named Matkina. Have you seen her? Yes. She wanted us to repair her temporal manipulation device. Planned on fiddling around in her past, no doubt. I don't recommend it, but it's not my business if people want to tangle reality. Suddenly feels dizzy, unaware. The construct carries on. Nothing was wrong with her artifact. Probably meant there was something wrong with her, but that's none of my business. You blink, swaying, and open your eyes on a different time. The underbelly is not yet what it will become. 3 form in distant, dim shapes in wavering hemispheres of light. The air is thick with dust. The great engines beyond are cold and silent. True to its nature, the foreman is lecturing you. No. What matters is that it can be done. Should not matter. No. Should doesn't matter. Should is a waste of everyone's time. Are you fainting? Master Foreman, present one, says suspiciously. No fainting allowed on the manufactory floors. We can't have workers tripping over you and toppling into forges. We'll miss deadlines. You open your eyes and the memory collapses. I need advice on repairing a crystalline device in the reef. Consultation, eh? Tell you what, bring me a piece of the device to examine, and I'll count the examination as payment for advice rendered. Deal? You're going to help me for free? A short consultation isn't worth the cost of an invoice. Bring the shard or don't. I'm busy here. Okay. Sounds good. Yes, stay clear of the forge. Okay. So, Fulsome and Temporal Artifact. There are a few different people we can talk to. Let's go talk to this one, because it's kind of interesting. Segments of this bisected construct's legs lie scattered around it. Someone has painstakingly altered these pieces, giving them small limbs and tiny metallic heads. Nonetheless, they're not moving. The construct's larger turquoise eyes flicker out of sync with each other as they turn towards you. I do not understand, it says. The voice emerging from the grill around its eyes is soft, so you're hearing it from far away. Don't they want to live? The viaducts are open. The commands are received, and yet... Its eyelids flutter. Every time I give my children life, they die. These tiny things are your children? Not anymore, it says. Now they're inanimate and lifeless. Their adapted personalities have been lost. I don't understand why they are dying. I have given the subject of procreation a great deal of thought over the last century, and there are no errors in my calculations. My assistant Tarnish built my children's bodies to my precise specification. Their intelligence reservoirs are shielded against permanent loss. Its eyes look away from yours as if I'm embarrassed. And I want them to live. That should be enough. I wish I could help you in some way. Maybe that you can, it says. I performed some new calculations and a new direction has presented itself. My children need more energy to live, but my construction prevents me from transfers above a certain threshold, and for good reason. Its pupils rotate, contracting. Energy transfers above a certain percentage would lead to a chain of ruptures in my intelligence rings. I would die. Its voice matches clips. Help me force myself to make this transfer, for I cannot do it myself. Click. Help me give my life to my children. Will you help me? The foreman says, the words are almost buried beneath a crackling surge of static. I want to help you. How do I begin? Speak to Tarnish, my assistant. He may be able to help you understand how I function if he's feeling well enough. Can I examine you? Yes. Tarnish, open my preservation hatches and viaduct shields, please. The elderly workman shuffles over and does as he's asked. Allegan steps up beside you and gives a low whistle. Not sure I understand everything I'm looking at, but I'll tell you this. Killing this construct's not a person for one job. If you decide to do it at once, I'll lend a hand. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty neat. I've never seen technology like this. Wires pass through glass tubes threaded with pale light and star-speckled darkness. You glance over at Tarnish. He's looking away, arms crossed, as though unwilling to watch a stranger tinker with his master. Why do you want kids? Yeah, this is an interesting story. Need, the construct says. Not want. Its pupils study the distant ceiling. When I was born, I began working in seconds. I did this until our creators shut down our bodies. In the millennia since, I've focused on designing the infrastructure beneath the other foreman's work, and instructing workers on how to execute in these designs. Eventually, I realized I was unhappy. It began as a thought, what would I teach? Oh, here we go, sorry. From time to time, my workers brought the children to the manufactory, holding their small hands. explaining the mysteries of this place to them. Its pupils flicker off. It began as a thought. What would I teach my own children? To be curious, to explore, to ask foolish questions, to see the world above that we've never seen. The foreman's pupils reappear. And when I thought these things, I saw the shape of my children outlined by daylight. They already existed. And can you tell me how you and the other foreman came to be like this?
I will not.
The foreman says calmly.
It's not an era I wish to revisit. Speak with the Master Foreman instead.
Why don't you want to talk about your past?
Because the Master Foreman revels in the past, and I'll be happy to share it with you. Will be happy to share it with you. I do not, and would not.
You seem very dispassionate about your failures to create children.
I've been through 27 iterations of birth. With each attempt, more of my non-essential personality and intelligence rings rupture. Know that these small bodies are only bodies. 27 versions of my children have lived and died within them. Know that they lived long enough for me to understand their personalities and name them before they were purged. Lust.
A soft whirring issues from the mess around the foreman's flickering eyes. Can I examine you again?
Certainly. Tarnish, open the hatches and shields again, please.
Is there anything else? Yep. Farewell. Now let's go talk to Tarnish, which would be this fella. I would hope. Nope. Then where's this? Oh, there's Tarnish. Hiding. Blending in. The elderly man stares vacantly at a distant wall, muttering under his breath. His hands flex on the air, twisting and tweaking as if repairing a machine only he can see. He jumps when you draw in a breath to speak. Yes, what? He says. His eyes rove past you, halt, and then return to focus on your face with some effort. Ain't you a quiet one? He says cheerfully. The Under Foreman makes more noise than you. We should hang chimes from your ears to keep you from surprising people. What do you need? What do you do here, buddy? I take care of me master, he says simply. The Under Foreman. There used to be more of us when he was making things, but when he lost interest, the Master Foreman, he jerks a yellow thumb at the construct in the center of the chamber, hired them all, offered them more. Tarnish spits on the ground. Happened a while back, but I don't forget a slight. How can I give the foreman's life to its children? Tarnish says, his eyes dart to yours, searching incisively. I know you're trying to do good, so I'll tell you what I know, like you once, but wish you'd leave this alone. Clasp your shoulders, speaking into your ear in a low whisper. He's right that killing himself is the only way. His body ain't the problem. It's something in the way his maker's made his mind and spirit. Keeps reclaiming the energy it gives his children. Now releasing all the energy at once is possible, but it ain't easy. You might want to try talking to the Order of Truth before you get started. Maybe there's some extra tools that'll help you on your way. How do you feel about your master's goal? It's a fine thing to want children, he says. Wish I'd had 'em myself. Too late now, new lady's knocking down my door. Cackles. Of course, when people have children, it doesn't come with the cost of their lives most of the time. And that life doesn't belong to a creature that's old in notions. It's a shame and a waste, but it's what he wants and it's what he always has. Doesn't mean I won't miss him. How long have you worked with the foreman? Couldn't say. On my first day I'd already met my wife, but she was married to what's his name, with the fishhook tattoo, and I hadn't lost a finger and grown it back yet, so 70 years, give or take. Should retire, but there's no enough to mind him if I did. Why do you keep calling your master he? Worked for him a long time. Guess I stopped seeing him as a thing and more like a him. All of us have our little ways, even him. Alrighty. I think we've left it long enough. Next time round, we'll head up to the Order of Truth, get to take a squiz at Government Square, and then we can see if we can get the guys there to help us with this task. It's good to actually be asking people about Matkina, I'm sure it'll come up again later, but it's pretty useful. Oh, actually, one last thing before we go. We've got enough XP to level again, so this time around we are going to boost our speed pool. There we go. Alright. Yep, until next time, have a great day. Hope you're enjoying this. Bye.